we're finding one breakout player from all 32 teams. Continuing on with the AFC South, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Travon Walker, to many people, is a bust because Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeaux, both guys who are already looking like they're going to be premier pass rushers, were taken after him. Jermaine Johnson was also taken after him. Just a loaded edge rusher draft class a couple of seasons ago. Here's the thing. Travon Walker had double-digit sacks last year. Not many people know that. This is a guy who we all knew was going to be an elite run stopper really right out of the bat. He had all the athletic traits in the build-up to be an elite pass rusher as well, but he was very raw. Aiden Hutchinson, not very raw at all. Aiden Hutchinson was a ready-made product. Kayvon Thibodeaux, some character concerns, but dude was a freak athlete. He was going to be able to be an elite pass rusher. Travon Walker, we didn't know. He had 10 sacks last year. You add in the fact another season with Joshua Allen Hines. I forget that's what we're calling him now. You have Eric Armstead on the inside now. Whew, baby. Travon Walker is going to be a special player. I admit it, I was one of the haters when they picked him number 1 overall. I thought that this was a clear Aiden Hutchinson. And if you really wanted to go with the more high-end upside, then you go Kayvon Thibodeaux. Travon Walker, though, hard to complain with what he's put on the field so far. However, for the Giants and the Lions, it's also hard to argue with what Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeaux have put on the field so far. I am super intrigued by the AFC South this year because really, I would say the only team who I don't think has a chance to win it would be the Titans. The Texans, Super Bowl hopefuls. They're on the up-and-coming. D'Amico Ryans, C.J. Stroud, they're cooking. The Jaguars, I love Doug Peterson. Trevor Lawrence gets his contract. They're going to try and get back on track. And don't sleep on Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Etienne. And then finally, the Colts, you end up getting Anthony Richardson back. We're going to talk about him later. The Titans are interesting because I would say that they're probably in the worst shape out of all 4 of these teams. And with that said, you look at what they've done this offseason, and it's quite impressive. I think Will Levis does have a chance to be a really good quarterback, even if he will never be a really good corn star. If you know, you know. Tony Pollard, love the signing. Perfect scheme fit for Brian Callahan's offense, similar to Calvin Ridley. Tyler Boyd, I'm never going to criticize. You have DeAndre Hopkins coming off of a 1,000-yard season. Bill Callahan working the offensive line with first-round talents like Peter Skoronski and J.C. Latham. And then this guy, Chigoziem Okonkwo. Dude is a freak athlete. Going to be interesting to see. I don't know if he's going to necessarily have the volume to break out, but the Titans are intriguing, and Okonkwo is intriguing as well. The tight ends, we're kind of in a weird spot right now. Seems to be a little bit of a changing of the guard. Travis Kelce, how much time does he have left? Mark Andrews, George Kittle, how much time do they have left on top of the pyramid? TJ Hawkinson, Sam Laporta, they seem to be like the next up-and-coming guys, but after that, it's kind of an open ground. Do we see Dalton Kincaid step up? Do we see Okonkwo step up? Freiermuth step up? There's kind of an interesting middle ground of tight ends. Going to be interesting to see who rises to the top. The Texans are very noteworthy this offseason for guys like Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs, and rightfully so. Those guys are established veterans. They're superstars. They're Pro Bowlers. However, there's been some signings on the defensive side that really just get me all fluffered up. We got Christian Harris here. He's been on the Texans. Super athletic, out of Alabama. Christian Harris is going to be a star. He's my breakout player. The reason why I think this year is going to be the year from the breakout, a second year under D'Amico Ryans, Al Shaheed's here, a free agent signing from the Titans, goes to the Texans. He's a fringe top 10 linebacker, I think. And that's super ambitious to say this is not a guy with Pro Bowls or anything, but you have him and D'Amico Ryans who are very familiar with each other. Then you have him. I think good things are to come for Houston. Will Anderson is kind of an easy one here. Danico Autry being signed on the defensive line. I'm honestly more excited about the Texans' defense than their offense. Honorable mention goes to Tank Dell, who, this is crazy to say, but I feel like he honestly might be, have the, how do I word this? He might have the most potential, and I hate saying that because that's such a cop-out. He's probably the most, just at this point, the most pure, talented wide receiver playmaker on the Texans roster. Stephon Diggs, I think, is still a mid-level wide receiver one. I think he produces. Nico Collins has been amazing. Dalton Schultz is awesome. Robert Woods, John Mechie, Noah Brown. Noah Brown is a beast, by the way. I feel like that guy just produces everywhere he goes. Tank Dell, though. He's the guy who I see, yeah, all right, I could see him being a 100-catch perennial, 1,000-yard wide receiver. I'm excited to see what him and CJ Stroud do in the future. I mentioned that we would talk about them. Anthony Richardson, I don't know if this is too basic. The guy was lighting it up. His 3 games that he played, it was weird. He was coming in and leaving early. Whatever he ended up playing, around a month of football, he was electric. They actually curb stomp the Texans. I'm assuming another year under Shane Steichen. Hopefully they can kind of bring him in a little bit, calm him down, make sure he's not taking those unnecessary hits, which I do think was partially on him and partially on Shane Steichen and company. Anthony Richardson should have a pretty big season, even though this is his de facto rookie season. There's pretty high expectations, and I think there should be. Honorable mention goes to my guy out of UNC, Joshua Downs. By the way, those uniforms are awful, like atrocious. Like, the Colts have a pretty clean look with the blue and white. The black just looks atrocious. Josh Downs, though, talented player. I think he might be the most talented wide receiver on the Colts. Sorry, A.D. Mitchell. Michael Pittman is the best, don't get me wrong. But Josh Downs, there's something to him. I wouldn't be surprised to see him break out, so honorable mention. So those are my breakout players from the AFC South. Let me know who you guys want to do next.